welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading stuff.
Hello, my name is Elena. Welcome to my booktube channel. This is Anna Karenina.
Sorry about that. In this video I want to do a review of the Sword of Kaigen by M L Wang. The Matsudas weren't known for taking the easy way to anything. The novel packs a tremendous emotional punch. This story will melt the ice in the coldest hearts. It's set on the Sword of Kaigen. This is a peninsula that's on the edge of the Kaigenese Empire, and it's like a buffer state between the Kaigenese Empire and the Ranganese, their ancient enemies. In the village of Takayubi, on the edge of the mountain, in the Sword of Kaigen, nothing seems to have changed much in 1,000 years. The story mirrors traditional Japanese warrior society. There is technology in this world, which is strange for a fantasy novel. There are buses, there are planes, there are telecommunications, video games, but these are largely absent from Takayubi, where most of the action takes place. When Misaki first came to this village, she observed, "It's like I stepped through a portal back in time." This is a very character-driven story. We follow a family, father, mother, and the 14-year-old son. We start with the son, Mamoru, who is training at the Kumono Academy to be a great fighter like his father and like generations of Matsudas before him. The Matsudas have a very pure bloodline, and they're able to manipulate water at a very elemental level, turning water to ice. And Mamoru is trying to master the art of the whispering blade, which is like a sword of ice that can cut through the sharpest steel. Then we have Mamoru's mother, Misaki. For 15 years she's been married to the icy Takeru. Misaki comes from outside the village. She has skills of her own for manipulating blood, but these skills are very much subdued because this is a patriarchal conservative society where she's expected just to be a housewife and a homemaker. She bears 4 sons to Takeru, and she has a couple of miscarriages as well, but she's very unhappy, and she has an interesting character arc. All the family has an interesting character arc. Their characters develop through the story. It's very well drawn characters. Takeru, the father, is the greatest swordsman on the mountain, but a terrible teacher. There's a difference between being great at fighting and being great at teaching it. He's very icy, particularly in the beginning. He's a master of the whispering blade. He's the second son. His brother is the mayor. This is a story about family relationships, about family dynamics. The 3 central figures in the family, they all have many layers, and the story peels back the layers. It's very emotional, it's a very moving story. At the center of the story there's this big war between the Kaigenese and the Ranganese. The attack by the Ranganese comes unexpected because the government of the Kaigen is very secretive and doesn't tell the villagers what's going to happen. There's a lot about government propaganda and about what the government wants its citizens to know. There are some tremendous visceral fight scenes as the Ranganese attack in great numbers. The warriors of the village, like Takeru, like Mamoru, they're on the front lines, but they're massively outnumbered. The war is not in any way glorified. The action, the violence it's very visceral, it's very bloody, it's very bitter. Mamoru makes his first kill, but he's not proud about this. When Mamoru makes his first kill, it should have been a proud moment, but Mamoru didn't feel any pride, just a sickly hammering in his own heart. This book shows war in all its bitterness, all its darkness. It's quite a dark book at times. The aftermath of the war is painful and bitter. Misaki wonders, was there any ceremony that could purge the miasma of so much pain? The people of the village have been largely ignored by the government. Even after all the tremendous devastation, the government is very reluctant to send any aid to the village. There's been a lot of tragedy. The pace of the whole story is quite slow. There's a lot of description. This is very different to other fantasy novels I've read. There's also like the three central female characters. They're all middle-aged, they're mothers, they have children. The only thing I really didn't like was the last chapter. Instead of tying up the loose threads and giving us closure, it opens up the story, opens up the book for a sequel and for maybe a continuation of the story, because there is a lot left to be done. There's some mysteries which haven't been solved, and I think it would have been better just a standalone. I read the Sword of Kaigen on my Kindle app. I'm also currently reading Anna Karenina. You might think there's nothing in common between these two books. One a Russian classic, the other a recent work of fantasy, but both books have a lot about family dynamics. There's also the issue of arranged marriages. In the Sword of Kaigen, Misaki and Takeru have an arranged marriage, and neither seem very happy about this in the beginning. And here in Anna Karenina, the princess is thinking about her daughter Kitty and whether she should be married off. She says, the French way of parents deciding a daughter's fate was not accepted and was even condemned. The English way of giving a girl perfect freedom was also rejected and would have been impossible in Russian society. The Russian way of employing a professional matchmaker was considered monstrous and was laughed at by everybody, including the princess herself. But how a girl was to get married, or how a mother was to get a daughter given in marriage, no one knew. There will be more about Anna Karenina in future videos. If you liked this video, you can like and subscribe. And bye for now. I'll see you on the next video.
Nanti nih kalau udah